silent auction items. I have my eye on a few, so the auction will close 5 minutes after the program tonight. This year's JRR is a little bit different than what we're used to, and I really miss seeing all of you in person at what I think is one of our best events of the year. But our commitment to the party is still as strong as ever. And the theme this year is Our Time is Now, because we have opportunities to change and to pass policies that will transform American lives for better. All of this would not be possible without all of y'all's commitment to the Democratic Party and to progress. It is because of your hard work and your leadership and the leadership of Speaker Nancy Pelosi and the DNC Chairman Jaime Harrison and our very own Lina Hidalgo that we are making great changes in our country right now. Judge Hidalgo, I am so excited to be introducing you tonight. It is my honor to introduce you as our events moderator. Judge Hidalgo demonstrates what real leadership should look like in Texas, and she consistently puts people over politics, and she's led us during one of the most trying times in our country. And she is someone that has been standing by our side, making sure that we are all safe and following science, and every vote that we're going to cast in the 2022 election, that they count. How amazing that our very own county judge, Lina Hidalgo, was made the time 100. Very quick thank you to Judge Hidalgo and everybody here. I did want to say thank you to all sure that technology we're using, even though we've been doing Zoom for a year, we're now working with Microsoft Teams and broadcasting into Zoom, and we're so excited. But we could not do that with the people of the party who work every day to make sure that we're still building a bigger and better party for the next general election. So thank you all to the party staff and volunteers for everything that you do. With that, Judge Hidalgo, thank you so much for joining us tonight.
Thank you, and thank you to everybody who's joined us. I'm so excited to be here. Hello to all of you Harris County Democrats. It is just such a monumental day. We are welcoming two of the most powerful leaders in American politics to our Harris County Democrats family, and I'm so excited, especially because we are in the midst of enacting our Democratic agenda here in Harris County and showing what it looks like, what we can achieve when Democrats are in power in Texas. Because of the work you guys did, in 2018, we shocked the nation. We took control of the highest offices in Harris County, and we've been able to make changes in the biggest challenges of our generation. When you look at our COVID crisis, we have been leading and saving lives, protecting lives, despite Republicans' best efforts to stop us. On criminal justice reform, we are now seen as a leader nationally in a place where it used to be taboo to say the words climate change. We now are taking on bad actors who pollute. We're protecting our environment. And we're protecting the treasure at the very heart of our democracy, the right to vote. And we're doing that in the face of so many attacks. Now, I'm especially thrilled to have this conversation because things are coming to a head. As always, when Republicans feel they're beginning to lose the game, they go to any lengths to try and come out on top, and now is no different, even if they're putting our democracy at risk. What they're doing with attacks on voting. Just tomorrow, we're going to have a hearing at the state Senate on the bills that are moving through the state legislature to try and destroy the reforms that we implemented and that both Republicans and Democrats celebrated back in the 2020 elections. Instead of extending voting hours and allowing frontline workers to vote in 24-hour voting until 10 o'clock like we did here in Harris County, Republicans at the state level are cutting voting hours. Instead of tripling the number of early vote locations, of making sure things move so efficiently that in essence there were barely any lines, Republicans are enacting requirements that would virtually assure we have lines that are multiple hours long. Instead of facilitating access to the ballot box, they're trying to implement policies that would essentially be a poll tax, for people with disabilities. Instead of making sure that folks can receive a mail ballot application like we did, they are working to prevent mail ballot voting. They are doing all of this, but I want our guests, I want Speaker Pelosi and Chairman Harrison to know that what you have here in Harris County and the Harris County Democrats that are joining us here today are an army of fighters. They are a group of people that have been here through sadness and through victory, that have made it so that we could take control of the largest county in Texas, and that are not going to give up until we reach victory in this state. Now, we are used to doing all of this with no air cover. But now we not only have control of this enormous county, we also have friends in high places, like Chairman Harrison, and I'm so happy to have you with us today, Chairman. You are just an example of leadership, both in front of the spotlight and behind the scenes. Chairman Harrison has led in Congress. He has led with courage when he gave Lindsey Graham the fight of his life. He exhibits and symbolizes the fact that today, as it has been in the Democratic Party, you don't need to be born into wealth to reach the highest levels of leadership. And most importantly for us, Chairman Harrison is from the South. From Charlotte to Atlanta to Houston, people are throwing off the vestiges of oppression. We are going toe-to-toe with the ghosts of Jim Crow, and we're not stopping. And we're facing that repression and renewed discrimination head-on. So, Chairman Harrison, I appreciate your focus nationally, your focus on the South, and the focus on this stage. I'm so happy to welcome you. Now, let me see if we have Chairman Harrison. Are you there still? We'll wait for him to log back in. Oh, there we go. All right. Chairman Harrison, so wonderful to have you with us. Let me give you a warm welcome on behalf of our Harris County Democrats. Welcome, thank you, and the platform is now yours.
Thank you so much, Judge. I really appreciate that very kind introduction. Can you all hear me? Oh, we're good. Okay. Thank you for that kind introduction and for your leadership. You give us so much hope for what's possible in Texas. And folks, I apologize. I think we're having some technical difficulties here. I keep dropping off, but let me just quickly say this. Good evening to every one of you, and I'm so glad to be here with you tonight. And I'm so honored to be with the one of my idols, one of my mentors, Speaker Nancy Pelosi. I've said it before and I'll say it again. I believe that Speaker Pelosi is one of the greatest speakers of the House of all time. And I'm thankful for every minute that I get an opportunity to work alongside of her. And let me start by recognizing your incredible and hardworking chair, Lily Schechter. Lily, thanks for all you do. And I know that there's so many elected officials joining us tonight, and we value your service to Texas and to our Democratic Party. And I want to thank all of you. Gatherings like this make me feel optimistic about the future of the Democratic Party and the future of America. I would be remiss if I didn't begin by addressing the tragic shootings we've seen in the past 2 weeks. First in Atlanta and now in Boulder. My heart breaks for the victims and their families. I lost a dear friend in the Charleston shooting 6 years ago. And I know that even though the news cycle moves on, the community never forgets. For those of you who don't know me yet, let me just say I am Jaime Harrison, and I'm the son of a single mom. I grew up in Orangeburg, South Carolina. I lived with my grandparents who helped raise me. And even though my grandparents didn't have much education, didn't have much money, they still had great values. And the values that they instilled in me were that they taught me to work hard, to tell the truth, to say what you mean and mean what you say. And they showed me that there's no greater honor than serving the community in any way that you can. These are the values that have guided my entire life, and these are the values that will guide me as chair of the DNC. Now let's talk about you. My friends, we've come a long way from November 2016, and we've only been able to get to this point because of the tireless work that you all have put in. Because of you, we were able to elect Joe Biden and Kamala Harris as President and Vice President of the United States, and to win seats up and down the ballot across the country. And after the past year, really the past 4 years, we can finally say that help is here. Thanks to the American Rescue Plan, we are starting to restore our economy, get vaccines in people's arms, and allow our communities to start thriving once again. Yet, even though we've made so much progress, Texans know better than anyone that we still have a long way to go. Right now, many of the politicians who are representing Texas aren't actually representing their constituents' best interests. Time and time again, we've seen politicians like Governor Abbott and Senator Cruz fail to keep Texans safe and prioritize themselves over the people who elect them. The communities in Houston, across Texas, are diverse, and they're filled with rich histories and traditions. Texans deserve to be represented with honor, and it saddens me that for so long you haven't had the representation you deserve in the Senate and statewide offices. Well, my friends, I don't know about y'all, but I've had enough. And that's why we're already mobilizing and organizing and getting ready for the next cycle, because it's right around the corner. Now, as DNC chair, I want to make sure that we continue to make progress in Texas. It is high on my priority list. We need to keep strengthening our infrastructure and organizing everywhere. Keep building the new South we've always dreamed of. One that is bold, that's inclusive, that's diverse. One where all of our voices are valued and heard. That will be one of the keys to our success as a party. A new South with leaders who reflect the community and serve the interests of everyone, not just the wealthy and well-connected. A new South that fights for those on society's margins and upholds the values that bind us together: equality, justice, opportunity for all. We can't just focus on putting all of our efforts and energy into winning seats in a single election year. I can guarantee you this, that Mitch McConnell and Kevin McCarthy are strategizing right now about how to beat us in 2022 and beyond. But we won't let that happen. We will out-organize them, and we will emerge victorious. But we can only do it, my friends, if we do it together. My goal as DNC chair is to support the Biden-Harris administration, support our Democrats in Congress, support our Democrats in our states, and to make sure that everyone knows about the value of the American Rescue Plan. And I'm counting on all of you to help me spread the word to our families and friends and our neighbors. And listen, I know the usual fate of midterms for the party in power. I know the history, but this is a thing that I've learned just this past election cycle. We can make our own history. That's exactly what we're going to do, and we're going to do it together. We're going to make our own history. We're going to defend and expand our majorities in the House and the Senate. We're going to flip state legislative seats up and down the ballot. And we're going to help Joe Biden and Kamala Harris and our congressional Democrats deliver the change Texans and all Americans deserve. This is our time to get the work done. So thank you again from the bottom of my heart for all of your support thus far. Now I want you to know that Texas Democrats have a partner in me and the DNC working alongside you every step of the way. So thank you so much for having me here tonight, and I'd like to turn it back over to the judge, who I believe will be introducing a very special guest.
Mr. Chairman, thank you so much. We're thrilled to hear about your strategy in the New South. It is absolutely what we need, and to know that you guys are working on this, that we are partners. Thank you so much, and I want to thank you especially as well for focusing on the next generation of our party. It's so important. Just bridging that continuity is crucial, and we so appreciate your joining us. Now, we all know we have another special guest with us today, and I'm so thrilled to be able to introduce a true icon. That's the word that Chairman Harrison used, and I think it is absolutely appropriate. Speaker Pelosi is one of the most powerful women, if not the most powerful woman in American history. She is someone who, with a steady hand, has led us through the biggest crises in recent memories, from the financial crash to COVID-19 now, who gave the longest speech in the history of the U.S. House of Representatives on behalf of Dreamers in 4-inch heels, and who is my personal fashion icon. Speaker Pelosi, you should know this. Now, the Speaker of the House does not waste her time. She's busy. She's been at the heart of so many victories that we've already had recently and that are delivering for our community. So the fact that she's here means a lot. And I know, Speaker Pelosi, you're here because you recognize the work that this community has been doing. The Speaker knows the work that so many folks have been doing. She knows that Texas, and particularly Harris County, is key to changing the face of power in this country going forward, as well, to building on the victories that we've had. And she recognizes that local government delivering for people is the way we show folks that it makes sense to vote, to be engaged, and that we represent a party that delivers, that focuses on the issues that really matter to people. But most importantly, I believe and I know that Speaker Pelosi is here for you all, for all of the Harris County Democrats who've been fighting for so long through winter storm, through COVID, through hurricanes and floods, through losses, and have taken us to victory, and the folks who are not giving up anytime soon. Our party chair, Lily Schechter, who's done such incredible work over the past few years that she's been leading us. So, Speaker Pelosi, we are so happy to welcome you today. We are honored. I am personally so thrilled to have a chance to speak with you today. So let's all give a welcome to Speaker Pelosi, and then I'll have a chance to ask the Speaker some questions. Madam Speaker, welcome.
Thank you so much, Your Honor. I'm so excited to be here with you and to congratulate you on your success and the great messenger that you are about the values of our country as well as our party. I'm honored to be here with you and Mr. Chairman Harrison. I've seen him grow up in politics as a volunteer, as a staffer to Mr. Clyburn, and then chair of the South Carolina Democratic Party, a candidate for the United States Senate, where he attracted so much support because he gave people hope. And now, as the chair of the Democratic National Committee, I join him in saluting Lily, Madam Chair, Lily Schechter, the chair of the Harris County Democratic Party. And thank you, Lily, for the leadership that you have provided. And as Her Honor says, Judge Hidalgo said, Harris County has made a tremendous difference, and much of it under your leadership. I also want to acknowledge Amber Mostyn, who I know is with us, for the investments that she has made intellectually, politically, and in every way in the success of Harris County Democrats. It's great to be with you all again. We've been together before. As you know, I'm a grandmother of Harris County. I have 3 grandsons here. My daughter has lived here for over 20 years, well over 20 years. And so I've spent a lot of time in Houston, more time than any other city except where I have lived, visiting my grandchildren now, but also appreciating this great city. I've been here the guest of Sheila Jackson Lee, of Al Green, and Sylvia Garcia and Lizzie Fletcher. And I thank Harris County Democrats for the big Democratic victory in so many areas, but also in sending these 4 great leaders back to the House of Representatives, where they are serving with great distinction and great pride in Harris County. So thank you for that. I know we were going to have a conversation, so I won't take up too much more time, except to say that it is really important that we not only appreciate the rescue package as we prepare for the recovery, but as Madam Your Honor, Judge Hidalgo said, that people know about it, because we want them to reap the benefits, appreciate what it is, and get ready for what comes next. So I was so happy to hear the recognition that Chairman Harrison in Harris County, I don't know, it was a coincidence, gave to the role Texas plays in the greatness of our country. And that, who knows, we turn Texas blue one of these days, hopefully soon. But in the meantime, you have turned Harris County a beautiful shade of blue. So I look forward to whatever questions you may have, and use that as an opportunity to share some of the accomplishments of our House Democrats under the leadership of President Biden. We're so proud of him and the Vice President Harris, as well as to work with the now Democratic Senate, so to make a difference. But in any event, I'm glad that you are staying safe. I heard on a regular basis from my daughter what you were undergoing with the electrical failures and the storm, the weather, and the rest of that. But we know one thing about Houston. It's Houston strong. Now, Houston, stay safe, all of you. And with that, Your Honor, I look forward to whatever questions you may have.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, and it's wonderful to count on your daughter as one of our constituents and your family, and certainly that storm really brought out the resilience and the resilience and the compassion of our Harris County community, which is just beautiful. Madam Speaker, I do want to ask you a few questions. And one question that I want to ask you is on something you mentioned. You mentioned the American Rescue Package, which is a game changer for so many families. We've all heard about how, in essence, it will cut child poverty in half, in addition to the aid from COVID-19, of course. All of it is tied together. Now, we have the Speaker of the House with us today, and you've been working hand in hand with leading the caucus with the President and Vice President in getting this done. What can you tell us about sort of the sausage making, how it came to be, and how it will impact the residents of this county and this state?
The IPs, our volunteers in politics, you all, the hundreds of people who are joining us in this conversation, know your power. Take satisfaction in what we have done, because it would not have been possible without your volunteerism, your enthusiasm for making the future better. So any chance I get as a former chair of the party myself, I know that the inside maneuvering just takes you so far. The outside mobilization makes all the difference. So as I describe the rescue package, I do so with gratitude to all of you for making it possible. So this package is about, I just say everything is about the children, their health, their education, the economic security of their families, so much of which is captured in this rescue package. We actually wrote this bill in last May and called it the HEROES Act. We passed some of it in December, a piece of it in December, and then the rest of it now. But in addition to that, it was invigorated by the election of Joe Biden and the fact that we now have vaccines. We didn't have vaccines last May. So now it's a different package in that respect. But many of the ingredients of it, and you referenced some of it, are in there. Our goal was to crush the virus. We're better equipped to do that now. Crush the virus, put money in the pockets of the American people, much more under a Democratic president. And in terms of those two things, the president had said President Biden said when he was in office, by the time he was in office 100 days, that there would be 100 million shots distributed. 100 million. Now he's changed it to say by the time I'm in office 100 days, there'll be 200 million inoculations made. So he's even beating his own ambitious goal. Crush the virus. Put money in the pockets of the American people. Over 100 million people have received checks already, over 100 million already. And again, as we speak, that number keeps growing and growing and growing. Getting our children safely into school, there's a huge amount of money, $170 billion to do just that. But as we focus on children and their economic security, thank you for mentioning the child tax credit, especially the refundability of it to lower income people, and again, getting people back to work. Those were the goals of it. Some of it existed in the HEROES Act. I mentioned the HEROES Act because we called it the HEROES Act because important in it was our support for our healthcare workers, our first responders, police and fire, our transportation, sanitation, food workers, our teachers who are employed by state and local government. And that was a very essential piece in this plan that was resisted by previous previous administration to the tune that we needed it to be. So again, it was now a hybrid of what we had done before to meet the needs of the American people, but again, enhanced by the ideas, presidency, and the miracles of science that gave us the vaccine to take us forward. What we need now, though, is for people to take advantage of it. And the more people know about how they can avail themselves of a benefit, the better the benefit is in action and prepares us to go down the path further.
Madam Speaker, thank you. Related to that, now you're talking about economic security and really at the core of building a strong community. And at the core of that, I truly believe also is the right to vote, the ability to hold leaders accountable so that then we can enact and promote better policy. Just today, actually, you may or may not have heard of this, the Republican leaders in the Texas House of Representatives cut a hearing short on these voter suppression bills rather than listen to testimony from folks opposed to the voter suppression bills. Needless to say, we need federal support on this. And so I want to ask you about the For the People Act. And I did receive a note from your staff, Madam Speaker, that you may have to hop off. So just let me know if this is the last question you'll be able to take.
Well, again, I have a day job that I have to get to the next bill. But here's the thing, and you spoke about it so eloquently, Your Honor, earlier about, and Jaime did, Mr. Chairman Harrison spoke about it as well. Central to our democracy is the right to vote. I've tried to reach out to my Republican colleagues every step of the way, whatever we're doing, whether it's infrastructure, whatever it is, to say, where can you join us on these issues? But if they can't, we have to proceed as we did with the rescue package. 75% at least of the American people support the rescue package. Not one Republican in the House or the Senate voted for the rescue package. So in any case, we hope that where we go next, they won't join us. And one of the places that we passed it in the House, is H.R. 1, For the People, the For the People Act. This is about cleaner government. And one of the reasons why the Republicans go down this path, as you described in the Texas legislature, and as we are speaking, it came on my screen that in Georgia, they did something similar today, not stopped a hearing, but passed a very destructive law in terms of how people can vote and have access to the ballot. Nearly 300 bills in over 40 states have been introduced in order to suppress the vote. H.R. 1 is something we've been working on for a long time. We passed it in the previous Congress with no prospect for success because of a Republican president, but nonetheless prepared us to have it want to be one of our first bills, H.R. 1, in the new Congress. And to that end, we have in the bill, the first 300 pages were written by John Lewis to end voter suppression. All of these things that you referenced, fewer polling places, fewer hours, less opportunity, get rid of all of that. And secondly, it has a place where we have commission redistricting, no more partisan redistricting. Now, we benefit from partisan redistricting some places, but that doesn't matter. What matters is that it's nonpartisan, that the chips fall where they may, so that the people are choosing their elected officials rather than elected officials choosing their voters. The next piece of it is to empower the grassroots, the IPs. Many of the people in our audience here at the Johnson Rayburn Richards dinner. I love the title, Heroes, all of them, and having made their strong mark on our country. And we want everyone to be able to make that mark, but we have to do it with a free and fair election and not this suppression. It reduces the role of, tries to eliminate big, dark, special interest money and instead empowers small donors and grassroots activism. It's what this country needs. All of your members, Sheila Jackson Lee, Al Green, Sylvia Garcia, Lizzie Fletcher, have been in the lead on protecting the right to vote. Dishonor the vision of our founders for a democracy in our country, to do a disservice to our men and women in uniform who fight for our freedom, and that is the freedom of a democracy, the right to vote. And again, to be unworthy of the aspirations of our children as to what they want the future to be and how they shape it through political activism. And as we know, Republicans want to have the right to vote by mail, in line, whatever it is, not to wait 4 hours, but to be able to facilitate their participation. So this isn't just about Democrats, it's about everyone. And it's not about politics, it's not about partisanship, it's about patriotism for our country. So I thank you for your understanding that you have of the meaning of this, because it will be very hard for us to accomplish any electoral successes and therefore any progress in terms of policies that meet the needs of the American people and our children, unless we can pass H.R. 1, which is now the current form in the Senate, Senate 1 and House of Representatives 1. And so, so thank you for asking about that, because it is very central to everything that we do. And thank you to Lily for the invitation to be with all of you this evening once again. It wasn't that long ago that I participated in Harris County dinner, newly named, I think now, right? Johnson Rayburn Richards dinner. I hope to see all of you sometime soon, but I am well aware of your accomplishments. We see evidence of it in the leadership of Sheila and Al and Sylvia and Lizzie. And Sylvia and Lizzie, just remarkable newer members of Congress, making a difference and being effective from the start. Lily, say hi to your family. It's wonderful to see you and be with you. Congratulations on your success. And again, to your audience, you are our VIPs. Without you, none of this happens. So thank you, thank you. And all of you, please stay safe. Thank you.
Thank you so much to Speaker Pelosi and to Judge Hidalgo, party as big and great as it is. I do want to remind everybody that we do have a silent auction going on still. So far we have raised, it looks like $5,300 on our silent auction. It will close at 6 p.m. I'm currently in a bidding war with my fiance for the ribs activity. But please jump in, bid. We have some amazing auction items. We have coffee with Christian Menifee. We have talking with Tanisha. We have writing with Rodney. We have beers with Beto and some other really great. We have a constitution signed by all the impeachment managers for the first impeachment trial. It's pretty incredible. So please take a moment to bid on an auction item. It's all going to the Democratic Party. For the event tonight, for our first virtual JRR, we have raised $165,000, which is truly incredible because everyone has stepped up so much and so amazingly to support the party. So we do have the last auction so that everybody can take a moment to jump on. I do want to give Judge Hidalgo a moment to do a quick close because she is our hometown hero, and we are so excited that she's our county judge and so excited that she took the time to join us tonight. And she is our judge, and so we're going to let her close out the event. Thank you, Judge.
No, I thank you, Lily. And I did want to thank Speaker Pelosi because she left us with a very hopeful note to know that they are fighting alongside us in voter rights. Be pulled in a million directions, and we could hear folks calling on her. But I wanted to say, and I want to say, Madam Speaker, just thank you so much for joining us. And I'd be remiss not to thank our congressional delegation who has helped us make the rescue package possible, this For the People Act possible. She mentioned the members of Congress, but obviously Congresswoman Lee, Congressman Green, Congresswoman Garcia, Congresswoman Fletcher. these Democratic leaders in Congress are truly helping get the job done, and we need that. We need that air cover here locally. So I hope everybody continues to support the auction, the party. This is how we build strength, and this is how we continue building it. And so I'll leave that there for this part of the program. But thank you, Lily, and thank you, Madam Speaker and Chairman Harrison.
With that, our auction is going to close in the next 9 minutes. So thank you, Judge Hidalgo, for all of your work. We are going to run through our videos again. We have cycled through our videos at the beginning, which are absolutely amazing. And we're going to show you videos from our sponsors again. So stay tuned for our videos so we can close out the event. And then be sure to bid. And thank you, Harris County Democrats, for everything that you do.